one aspect of trading card games that I always personally love is the self-expression and the personal flair that you're able to get. And nothing gives you more personal flair from the beginning than your deck box. Whether it be a simple deck box like this from Ultra Pro, all the way up to the higher end deck cases from other brands that are able to really give you some artistic flair. There's a lot of expression that can be shown with a deck box. So today I wanted to go over just a few different styles so you can see what you might experience when you go to a tournament if that's something that you are interested in. To start off with, we're going to go with a very simple, straightforward one, which is going to be the Chibi Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck case. This came out a number of years ago, and it features a Chibi Yugi, a Chibi Kaiba, as well as Chibi versions of their iconic monsters on the sides here. Now, what made this deck box unique is that this was a larger deck box. As you can see here, it had all this room. Actually, it wasn't even called a deck box, it's called a deck case. But it also featured a really cool individual divider inside, which is really cool to see. And it was just a nice little piece of flair. But these gave you a lot of room, so if you played a 60-card deck, you could have your main, side, and extra in a deck box comfortably. I'll be using the words deck box and deck cases interchangeably. Just know that for anything official, it is always called a deck case. But this was the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck case that I can recall, and it was really cool because it was pretty large and it gave you a lot of room. To follow that, we had actually a demand for double deck boxes because of popular ones such as this one right here. This is commonly referred to as the manga Dark Magician Girl one, the manga witch. Came with 3 dividers. This is my personal one. It's pretty solid shape, but it's seen some better days. What made this one unique was just that it was known by a lot of players to be used by all of the pro players, the top players at the time, to use these, as well as there was a ninja girl and a couple other ones that were pretty frequently used. And what made these unique was that they were very sturdy. These were made by Max Protection, I believe. Yep, Max Protection. And these were very solid. These were really sought after, and they still are. They did a rerun of the Magician Girl one here in 2018, I believe, and even that one fetches a few $100 potentially when it's sealed. These can be very expensive. So because this existed and this style of deck box was so sought after by a number of players, Konami actually took it upon themselves to make their own double deck case. This is my personal one. It came in 2 different colors. There was blue and black, and then a red and black one as well. Both of mine are fairly beat up. They've definitely seen some better days. I'll grab a less beat up one in here. And I've got one that's ready to go. As you can see, I also had a spot for your name, which I always put just for fun. You could put your ID and your Kasi ID. Your Konami ID used to actually be referred to as your Kasi ID. You used to be able to write it in there and then have your ID barcode, because that used to be how they would take your entries. They could just scan that in and you'd be entered into the tournament. These were pretty popular, and these are, I mean, I've had this one for, I don't know, probably 13 years now, and this thing is still holding up to this day. It's definitely seen the better days, but it's been a great piece of history to have with me, and it's been one I've had a ton of fun using. But from there, we went back in time a little bit to more standardized deck cases. You know, if you wanted a double deck box, though, and you didn't want to spend all that much money, you could always get a monster deck box. Now, mine are always covered in stickers. I just like adding that little bit of flair myself, but these were simple. They were just 2 small trays. They're basically the same as the Magician Girl one that I just showed you, just without the dividers and without the absurd price associated with them. These come in a variety of colors. These are actually still available to this day on like Amazon and in a lot of OTS stores and local game stores themselves. These are usually about $10, $12, and these last a long time and are really good for what you're paying for them. But if you wanted something a bit more Yu-Gi-Oh! Focused with a little bit of flair, we also had the Dark-Sided Dimensions deck case. There was a number of deck cases in between these, including a Kaiba Corp deck case, which was thinner. As you can see, comparing it to that, this is actually a much thinner deck case. This one came with a divider that is somewhere else in my collection, but this is really cool. This also came with sleeves that had the Kaiba Corp logo, as well as a silver background on it to match, which was really cool. And these thinner deck boxes were very popular amongst a lot of players, but they once again released a fatter deck box with Dark-Sided Dimensions, you know, showcasing Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, as well as the Dark Magician, Kaiba Yugi, and I'm not sure of his name. I don't remember. I haven't really watched that movie that carefully. But these were very popular. And they actually reminded me a lot of one of my personal favorite deck boxes, which is this blue Duelist deck case from the OCG. Now this one, I have a few of these. This one is very beat up. It's been broken due to TSA, unfortunately. But this was a one that I played. I used a number of decks through many years, actually, at events. So if you saw me, it was not uncommon to see me using a blue Duelist card case, and it's actually this particular one. One really unique feature of all of these is that they tend to have a spot for your name. I'm a big fan of putting your name on everything. You know, whenever you go to an event, you want to keep track of your stuff. Best way to keep track of your stuff is to make sure that it is very clearly your stuff. One of the ways to do that, put your name on it. So I always put my name on every deck case that I could. Usually I then cover it with a piece of tape, keep it a little bit nicer. But some of these have worn away over the years. But the blue Duelist card case was a really unique piece of game history because the plain Duelist card cases really are just kind of to symbolize the different eras, and the Duelist card case here that you see, the blue one, is actually for the Link era, which was really cool because it's got the little hexagons that were synonymous with the Link era of Yu-Gi-Oh! But talking about some deck cases that are synonymous with different times in the game's history, I have a couple over here. We have the red Zexal Duelist card case and a black Zexal Duelist card case. Like I mentioned, both of these have my name. This one is one of the last ones that I have. The red one is actually incredibly rare. These are both rare because they're older, but the red one is especially rare because they've all been bought for the most part. There's only a few circulating around that aren't beat, into the ground. But these are really cool. Again, a fatter deck case. But what made this unique was that this was actually, like I said, an OCG one, and was first noted in the TCG by legendary duelist Patrick Hoban. They received this deck case at the World Championship in 2013, because one of the things that is always nice is that you get a gift from Konami in the form of deck boxes, some sleeves and stuff like that, but they all received a deck box to use, and they received this one, I believe, which was really cool. It was very iconic to have, and I have a number of these actually that are all pretty beat up because I've used them all extensively. And then there was the black Zexal card case. This one actually is one of the few that I didn't buy brand new. In fact, the divider in here actually goes with this deck case itself, so I should probably put that back. But this is really cool. This one was also very well known. As you can see, it had the Zexal key on it. In front, mine is worn away. It's been used quite a bit. Somehow the name on the back there is not worn away, despite being thrown through so many backpacks. One other really cool, unique thing about a lot of the deck cases is that if you look in the back here, you have a little window. When they're not so scratched and beat up, you can actually see a card from your deck. So if you wanted to, you can always put like your key card there, so you can always remember what deck it is if you're having a ton of them. So you can see Argus Stars, Lightning, Tideo, I don't know. Can't pronounce card names today. But that was that one. Moving away from Yu-Gi-Oh! Specific card cases for just a moment, there are also options like Heavy Play, for example, as I have done a review for them, and as everybody knows, I'm very fond of their products. These card cases can be anywhere from a few dollars to $50 to $100. What makes Heavy Play unique is that theirs are all about modality and practicality, so they're magnetic, so they work together, which is pretty cool. And then you've got another example here. The links for these can be found in the description below, by the way. These ones are not Yu-Gi-Oh! Specific, but they are very good for a variety of card games. And I'm a big fan of these myself. I have a few that aren't specific to Yu-Gi-Oh!, including one from Mana Moon here. This is the Sidewinder, I believe is what they're called, or maybe they're Dice Winders. I don't remember the exact name, but what makes these ones unique is the Mana Moon team always puts this amazing artwork inside. I had a Lightsworn one that I had shown in the Mana Moon product review that had artwork of Minerva, and it's really well done. Also comes with leather deck dividers, which is really cool and a unique touch. It's really nice, so you get that nice high quality leather there. And then it also comes with something that many duelists have wanted for a while, which is a dice compartment. So you can actually keep your dice with your deck as well. So it's nice and compact. And I like that a lot because this actually is pretty small. All things considered, fits in your bag very comfortably. and is a wonderful way to show some flair. If you're a big fan of like Lightsworn, you can use the Lightsworn one. If you're a big fan of Sailor Moon, they've made Sailor Moon ones. Tons of different anime, tons of different fandoms all get supported with these awesome deck cases. Speaking of some different deck cases, we actually have one of the premier deck cases, which is Gem Tech Accessories. They have made some amazing deck cases over the years. This is actually the only one I have left, which is the collaboration with MCole40. What made these ones unique was, A, they had the artwork in them. They were known for that. They also had the different trays, but they also had the dice tray attached as well. That was one of the big things. These are a little bit bigger, and they're pretty hard to find these days. They tend to only sell them once in a great blue moon, but they also have amazing artwork all over, and they fit everything you need in them conveniently. Going back to more official ones, though, we have, let me see here. I guess I'll just show the regional deck cases. So I only have these two versions. As you can see here, we have a World Championship Qualifier regional deck box that's gray, and we have a pink one. The pink one is actually a tower deck box, and that was after a number of years of using these ones. These could fit your main extra inside as well, as long as they were single sleeve and you weren't playing like more than 45 cards, I believe. These tend to wear out pretty quickly. My green one that I have from my personal use was pretty beat up, so I don't want to take it out. Even this one that I've used a few times is pretty beat up. You can see the tops here tended to crack, but what made these really cool was that it was a way to show off that, you know, you did it. You made it to the top 4 of regional, because that was the only way you could get these deck boxes, and they were really cool. Nowadays, they give away a larger orange one that is much more in the style of the Gem Tech boxes, but it also, you know, it still has the regional name and World Championship Qualifier new logo with the triangle on it, which is really cool. When they switched to these, there was originally purple, which was really cool, and it had the little deck tray in there, so you could just pull it out like that with your finger, which is really nice. And it also actually at the top had a little dice tray as well, which was very cool. You know, really trying to show support for players, trying to keep all their stuff together in a nice, orderly way. Then we have one of my personal favorite deck cases of all time. Actually, it's a very old one. It's my Arc 5 one. This was the very first OCG deck case I ever got, and it has seen a lot of use. For better and worse, it has been all over the country with me. This was to celebrate Arc 5 in Japan, and I had matching sleeves for that as well. Then, going back to deck boxes, actually, we have the two of the only official Yugioh deck boxes, which are the Millennium Items. Now, these were released during the pandemic, and these are actually made in collaboration with Ultra Pro. Ultra Pro has made deck boxes like this for Pokemon. I believe they've done it for Magic the Gathering as well. But what made these really cool was, A, they were official deck boxes, which there aren't very many, and B, they featured the Yu-Gi-Oh logo, as well as Millennium Items on a variety of color. And then on the inside flap, you actually had the Millennium Item being shown as well. Unfortunately, we only have these two as of now. Hopefully we get the other 5 Millennium Items in time, because that'd be cool to have the full set of these. But these are pretty cool. They're on like a leather material as well. These are pretty awesome. Yeah, you don't really see these anymore. I believe these are only given to OTS stores for either being able to run so many tournaments, or, you know, making so many sales, or ordering so much stock, stuff like that. These were all, like, stuff like that is often given as gifts to OTS stores, and they just do whatever they want with it. Usually they give it to players, or they'll, you know, have a raffle, or they'll have it as a tournament prize, which is pretty cool. Then, speaking of the World Championships, we're going to circle back to some other deck cases. I actually have 2 of the World Championship official deck cases. I have a 2019 one here. What made this one cool was this came in red and blue. I unfortunately don't have the red one anymore. I sold it to a friend of mine a few years ago, but he was kind enough to give me 15 of the red sleeves. So there's the red sleeves, the blue sleeves, the red deck box, and the blue deck box. These are all really cool. These will fetch a pretty hefty price. Because, again, to get these, you have to actually play in the World Championship or be present at the World Championship, and they are currently not open to the public. So getting access to these is always very hard. And if you go to any event and you see somebody using World Championship sleeves, either they paid a pretty decent premium for them, they were lucky enough to be gifted them by their friends, or they happened to actually be a participant. And if it's the last of those, then watch out, you're about to be playing against a very proficient duelist, to put it mildly. Then we have the most recent World Championship deck box. This one was actually, I bought this from one of the competitors themselves. Or no, actually this one, sorry, I was going to buy one. This one is a gift from one of the judges who was kind enough to hook me up with this, which was a really awesome gift to get. Came with another divider as well. And then, like I said, there are always corresponding sleeves. Let me see if I can get... The cool part about these sleeves in particular is, I don't know if I can show it. I'll have to take a photo of it sometime, but there's actually hieroglyphics or hieroglyphs on the sleeve. It's really hard to capture on film. But those are some of the really cool, unique aspects of the World Championship deck cases. This year's, for 2024, didn't actually have a red and a blue case. Like, it didn't have a red case and a blue case. It just had one with both colors and then a divider down the middle, which was really cool. And I liked that a lot, actually. I think it's pretty cool. If you go to any YCS in current times, you'll see World Championship competitors like Landon Oliver. And I'm not sure if Ruben uses his. I know Landon uses his, but I'm fairly certain Ruben probably also uses his. Or he keeps his at home. I don't know. But it's always unique to get to see these. These are pretty rare, and they tend to be very expensive. Then I'll actually show one that wasn't originally a World Championship deck box, but became one. And it is actually the Anniversary Puzzle limited edition official card game Duel Monsters deck case. So this one is my personal one. I had one that I gave to my best friend as well. These were sold in the OCG for a short period of time, but what made them unique is they're actually the same style as the Gemtech boxes. So it opens like that, and then instead of opening forward, it opens to the side. You actually have a slot for your side deck, and then you have your dice compartment as well. And what made these extra cool is they actually came with spell counters, which are always really cool to have. Came with 5 of those, which is really unique because spell counters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are not something we get to often have. But in 2023, during the World Championship, they actually gave these to competitors as well. So a lot of people know this from the 2023 World Championship competitors. That was one of their gifts from Konami, was getting this awesome deck box, which is pretty cool. And then last but not least, I guess I'll show, in my opinion, the grail of all deck boxes. It is the 1998 Bandai Memorial Edition deck case. So this actually came in a few different versions. There's a gold one, a blue one, and then a blue one with a snap. I think the gold one also had a snap instead of a piece of Velcro. These are really hard to find. This is my personal one that I bought back in 2019. And it doesn't even have a divider. It has a partition. I'll try to get close so you guys can see. It's worn away. It says partition at the top there. These are just really cool. I don't see many players actually get to even see these. This is from back when Bandai had the rights to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Brand, and so we saw like Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 and the manga. So you see Kaiba there with green hair, the original Exodia, Blue Eyes White Dragon, the Pharaoh Atem, of course, another Blue Eyes, and then you see the Pharaoh, Yami Yugi, and Little Yugi there. These are really rare. I don't often use this. I try not to, at least, just because it's such a really cool piece of history, but every once in a while you might get lucky and see me use it. I only know a few people that have these. They're not as expensive as they used to be. During the pandemic, they had ballooned in price, and even right before that, they had gone up. But now that they're a little bit cheaper, we've found more. But these are just a really cool piece of Yu-Gi-Oh! History to have. But yeah, so if you ever want to know about your deck boxes, let me know down below. If you tag me over on X, I can go ahead and take a look. This is just something I really enjoy sharing with everybody. And if you guys want to see some cool stuff on some sleeves and anything else, let me know. Thanks.